Good evening, I'm Adrienne Arsenault.
And I'm Andrew Chang. Tonight, the We charity says it's shutting down its Canadian operations.
It doesn't change the fact that the Liberal government needs to answer a lot of questions.
Hear what the opposition wants before the lights are turned off.
We are investing $1.6 billion into our healthcare system.
With COVID gaining and flu on the way, BC marshals money and people to go on the defense.
So this is deadly stuff.
Candid and recorded. Donald Trump's thinking as the virus arrived in the United States.
And COVID's new workplace rules and how to enforce them.
Well, we have spies. We call them change champions.
Why employees are leading the charge. This is The National.
After months at the center of a political firestorm, the We charity announced tonight it is shutting down in Canada.
The charity is blaming the controversy and the COVID-19 pandemic for leaving the organization in financial ruin. Troubles for We began even before it was chosen to administer a multi-million-dollar student grant program. But after questions were raised about the organization's close ties to members of the Prime Minister's family, it lost sponsors and support. Catherine Cullen explains.
Over the past 7 months, We Charity has experienced a series of unprecedented challenges.
It is an incredible fall. From the idealistic 12-year-old who started the charity, We grew to an international operation, loved by celebrities and the Prime Minister. We blames the pandemic for its problems, but also politics, namely the scrutiny that came after it was chosen to run a $500 million program for the government when it had given lucrative speaking contracts to the PM's family. We said in a statement, the fallout from the Canada Student Service Grant has placed the charity in the middle of political battles and misinformation that a charity is ill-equipped to fight. As a result, the financial math for the charity's future is clear. Political battles, yes, but We also faced scrutiny for how it operated and treated employees. Now,
We will be closing We Charity's operations in Canada, and we'll be establishing an endowment with the proceeds.
and the Kielburger brothers say they will leave the organization. At a parliamentary committee in July, Craig Kielburger talked about regret.
We would never have picked up the phone when the civil service called, asking us to help young Canadians get through the pandemic if we had known the consequences. The young people would not get the help they need now, and the 25 years of We Charities programs helping millions of youth would be in jeopardy.
He's not the only one with regrets. Finance Minister Bill Morneau was hobbled by the admission his family had traveled at We's expense.
I expected and always had intended to pay the full cost of these trips, and it was my responsibility to make sure that was done.
He walked away from politics not long after. Tens of thousands of Canadian students never got the grant money they hoped, and the Prime Minister still faces an ethics investigation.
Despite the fact that We is shutting down, it doesn't change the fact that the Liberal government needs to answer a lot of questions.
It's not the end of the affair, not at all.
All right, Catherine, so the Prime Minister has prorogued Parliament. So what happens with this controversy now?
Well, Adrienne, opposition parties say they still want more documents from We. They are determined to push this when Parliament resumes. They want to show that there was political involvement to get this major contract to We. That's something the government has denied. But there's also the Ethics Commissioner. His office called what happened today with We an interesting fact, but said his investigations continue.
All right, thank you, Catherine.
You're welcome.
Well, COVID-19 is undeniably on the rise again in Canada. No one knows for sure what the coming months are going to bring. But from the Prime Minister today, a warning.
The last thing that anyone wants is to have to once again shut down our economies and suspend our lives to try and counter a massive second wave.
Now, we are far from that massive first wave the country suffered in the spring, but from a low point of less than 300 new cases a day, as restrictions relaxed, the rate has doubled over the summer. And in no province has that march upward been more relentless than in British Columbia, where average daily new cases have increased tenfold. Now, the good news for BC is that it started from a point of strength. The province won praise for its response to the first wave, and Briar Stewart shows us BC is already working to head off a potential COVID-19 comeback.
With summer fading and many back to some kind of routine, BC announced its plan for whatever comes next when influenza season erupts in the middle of a pandemic.
We are investing $1.6 billion into our healthcare system. This will mean 7,000 jobs for healthcare support workers in long-term care and assisted living facilities.
While half of the money has already been allocated, more will be going towards staffing and training. The province wants to increase surge capacity, staffing an additional 2,500 hospital beds if needed. It wants to boost testing to 20,000 a day, including testing for the flu. It's also ordered an additional 450,000 doses of the influenza vaccine.
We know that the symptoms of influenza and COVID, especially early on, can be very similar.
The province insists it has enough capacity, but warns if needed, it will roll out more restrictions. This was the scene last night on a subdued Granville Strip. All nightclubs were ordered closed, and last call for alcohol is now 10 p.m.
We might have to switch to doubles.
Some are skeptical what kind of an impact that will have.
I was getting kicked out of here, I'd be grabbing a group of buddies and going back to my place.
For staff, the restrictions are a blow.
Because you rely on, people coming in, you rely on tips.
The province is hoping some hospitality staff will be interested in filling one of the 7,000 new jobs for healthcare aides. The union representing many of those workers say new hires are desperately needed in long-term care homes, but that's not all.
We are going to have to continue to be vigilant, though, to ensure that the workers on the front lines are supported, that we have enough of them, that we have them deployed in the right places.
So the system is better prepared for a potential surge of cases in the coming months. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Vancouver.
And here's a look at Canada's COVID situation by the numbers tonight. 100 new cases in BC today. Alberta finally back below 100 with 98. 16 in Manitoba, and in central Canada, Ontario down to 149, Quebec up slightly to 180. The leaders of those two provinces wrapped up a friendly cooperation summit today on COVID, on economic recovery, and on getting more money from Ottawa. Here's Ellen Morrow.
In step and on message, Doug Ford and Francois Legault united, asking Ottawa for help on healthcare funding.
We need the Canadian health transfers increased. We need the support from the federal government.
The premiers argue that the current federal contribution to the provinces isn't enough. Not a new complaint, but a more urgent one now as the pandemic drags on.
It's a problem that is increasing every year and increasing because of the expenses related to the COVID-19.
And those expenses are set to grow with COVID cases rising in both provinces. Still, Ford and Legault projected an air of calm, with no plans yet to roll back reopening.
If everyone focuses on the guidelines and protocols, then we shouldn't have a problem.
The timing of the meeting is likely no coincidence, coming just ahead of the throne speech later this month.
The federal government is trying to think right now about the speech from the throne and obviously a subsequent budget that will be presented in the House of Commons. And so they probably wanted to show a united front right now in order to be able to negotiate.
And when the leaders of the two largest provinces band together, the Prime Minister has little choice but to listen.
2/3 of the seats in the legislature come from those provinces. And so to not respond to those premiers is to invite a potential electoral cost.
Ford and Legault are also pushing for federal help on infrastructure and pushing back against U.S. protectionism, both making clear their economic recoveries are crucial for Canada's.
When Ontario and Quebec are booming, the rest of the country is booming.
But any boom going forward will depend on those case counts going back down. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, the Prime Minister announced a major business funding program for Black Canadians today.
The Government of Canada, in partnership with Canadian banks, is investing nearly $221 million to launch Canada's first ever Black Entrepreneurship Program.
Applicants can draw funds for everything from startup capital to mentorship and training to financial planning services. Trudeau said economic empowerment in the Black community strengthens Canada as a whole, and that the government will have more to say on fighting systemic racism in the country.
Tech giant Amazon announced a major investment in Canada today. 2 new warehouse operations in southern Ontario, together worth thousands of jobs. But as Jacqueline Hansen explains, with enthusiasm comes some skepticism.
2 more fulfillment centers like this, nearly 1 million square feet each, and a call out to Canadians. Amazon will soon need 2,500 more full-time workers.
We do want to be closer to our customers. We want to be able to provide them a wide variety of products that we can get to them as fast as possible.
The jobs will include warehouse associates, operational leadership, finance, IT, and HR. Currently, the starting warehouse pay is $17 an hour.
Lots of opportunities for a career growth standpoint as Amazon is growing.
When physical stores closed due to COVID-19, Canadians went online to Amazon and other retailers with existing online infrastructure. Still, Amazon is the giant that keeps getting bigger.
They were in growth mode before COVID-19 happened. What COVID has done is accelerate the need to build this infrastructure.
And for many Canadians still out of work, Amazon may be the lifeline they're looking for.
Hello.
But with size comes scrutiny.
They are continuing to expand. They need to work on the working conditions of the workers too.
Gagandeep Kaur with the Warehouse Workers Centre says she isn't convinced that all the jobs will be permanent.
I have heard from different facilities workers who are still, after years of being employed at these fulfillment centers in Peel region, they haven't acquired the permanent status yet.
Amazon told us these positions will be permanent.
These are full-time Amazon jobs. These are not the contract employees.
With the expectation that Canadians' demand for anything and everything at the click of a button is also here to stay. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, a new report is casting a renewed spotlight on the situation of caregivers in this country. Along with low pay and no job security, in a pandemic, they're being asked to put their lives on the line too. Christine Birak takes a closer look.
A registered nurse, Jodelle Concepcion, took care of people. She loved her job, working in a long-term care home, but it almost killed her.
I felt I was going to die. I just prayed.
Concepcion was hospitalized with COVID-19 in March. Her recovery took months, and after years of caring for Canadians, she felt she returned to a system that didn't care about her.
Job security, it's not there at times too, because the positions is not permanent, and the benefits, there's no benefits.
A new Ontario report says essential, high-risk work, often done by women, offers little money or stability.
And they do this, to keep the Canadian economy going.
Among all women who tested positive for the virus, nearly 4 out of every 10 were healthcare workers, and more than half of those women were caregivers from the Philippines, Jamaica, and Nigeria, women who came to Canada to care for people's children and parents.
People become sick, in some cases die, because they fulfill, an economic need within this country. So we need to have policies and practices in place that will protect people.
Those policies include higher pay for those providing essential services and paid sick leave. And experts argue without affordable housing and universal child and elder care, the gaps in our society are only getting wider.
Whether there's political will to address these in kind of longer term systemic ways, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Concepcion says politicians should spend one day in the life of an essential worker, see what it's like taking care of Canadians, and then ask themselves if it's fair to offer so little to people who are doing and risking so much. Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
In Nova Scotia, officials are investigating what could be Canada's first case of COVID-19 reinfection.
From a very practical perspective, the first thing it means is that people who were infected in wave 1 may be at risk of being infected in subsequent waves.
Dr. Strang says the province's most recent case is a home care nurse who also tested positive in May. It's not yet known if it is in fact a reinfection or the disease simply laying dormant. While lab testing continues both locally and nationally, this case is being treated as new.
One of the front runners in the race to develop a COVID-19 vaccine has been sidelined temporarily. British drug maker AstraZeneca paused its clinical trials after a patient fell ill. Tashana Reid explains what happened and where this leaves the potential vaccine.
It's a development vaccine researchers didn't want. A patient sick and the clinical trial on hold. Britain's top doctor says it was the right decision.
We need to make sure with these vaccines that they work well enough, and they are safe.
AstraZeneca is one of 3 major companies to move into phase 3 trials and has supply deals for 3 billion doses. There are reports the patient suffered from a rare spinal inflammatory disorder, but the company says it's waiting on a final diagnosis. Experts say it's not uncommon to pause clinical trials.
If there's a serious illness in one of the participants, things are stopped until the investigators can figure out what that illness is actually caused by. It may very well be the illness has nothing to do with the vaccine.
In fact, the company said today it stopped trials in July after another volunteer was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, unrelated to the vaccine. Investigators will now try to determine if there is a direct link with the vaccine and this latest patient.
The issue is going to be if you start seeing more cases of this, and if it is linked, if they feel that there is a real association with the vaccine, then that's a completely different story.
Tens of thousands of people in the UK and around the world have volunteered for the trial. In South Africa, hundreds have already been receiving injections.
I'm going to stay positive until maybe there's something that, causes concern, but it can be scary, but trying to be positive.
Experts say the priority during any vaccine trial is patient safety.
We have trials going on around the world. We have to continue to keep safety and efficacy as our top priority. There's going to be bumps along the way.
An independent committee is now reviewing safety data and will advise when the trials could resume. Tashana Reid, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, until a vaccine or effective treatment is developed, we need to rely on other public health measures like wearing a mask. But that can be especially tough on kids. A Toronto family was kicked off a WestJet flight after a dispute over masks and their young children. Aaron Collins spoke with the father today.
This was the chaotic scene early Tuesday morning on WestJet Flight 652. An altercation that grounded the red-eye from Calgary to Toronto for good. The plane's crew in a standoff with a family over their children not wearing masks.
No problem there. And they said, ma'am, if you guys are not all going to wear a mask, we will call the police and they will arrest you and drag you out of here.
Safwan Chowdhury says his 3-year-old did put on a mask. It was only his 19-month-old that didn't. The Transport Canada doesn't require children under 2 to wear a mask while flying. Now, WestJet declined an interview request, but in an email, the airline says it's important to clarify that WestJet did not request the infant under the age of 2 to wear a mask. We tracked down one of the passengers who witnessed the event. They disagree.
So one of the kids successfully she wear the mask. The other one, because due to her age, less than 2 years, so she said, okay, she doesn't want to wear the mask.
A video taken on the plane seems to confirm that. Still, police removed everyone from the plane. WestJet canceled the flight.
We were just absolutely gut-wrenched that despite the frustrating and absolutely horrific harassment that we received, there's all these people that are around us can't go home.
As for Safwan Chowdhury and his family, well, WestJet says they're banned from flying with the airline. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Calgary.
Lots of reaction tonight to newly released audio of Donald Trump admitting to deliberately downplaying the threat of COVID-19.
So this is deadly stuff.
Next on The National, Trump's concerns behind the scenes in contrast to his public words for Americans.
And the Oscar goes to...
Also, the Academy Awards set a new standard for Hollywood's top prize.
It's overreach. It's going to piss people off.
And why the workplace may never look the same. I feel like you're a little bit of a tour guide in a corporate museum. Safety above all else. The future of work. We're back in 2.
Welcome back. Critics of Donald Trump have long accused him of downplaying the seriousness of COVID-19. But Trump himself is now helping to make the case. Interviews recorded by journalist Bob Woodward reveal how much the U.S. president knew and how early. Katie Simpson has those details.
2 weeks before Donald Trump walked onto this stage, he was warned by his closest advisors. COVID could become the greatest national security threat of his presidency. And yet, he told his supporters not to worry.
Looks like by April, in theory, when it gets a little warmer, it miraculously goes away. I hope that's true.
We now know that Trump had a much deeper understanding of the virus from the start, as revealed in a series of interviews at that time with Bob Woodward.
It goes through air, Bob. That's always tougher than the touch. You just breathe the air, and that's how it's passed. It's also more deadly than your strenuous flus, so this is deadly stuff.
They can say whatever they want to say.
Even with this knowledge, Trump continued to pack arenas for rallies and would wait weeks before calling for physical distancing guidelines, all the while publicly minimizing COVID concerns.
You don't want to see panic, because there's no reason to be panicked about. It's going to disappear. One day it's like a miracle. It will disappear.
The White House denies Trump misled the public, though he admitted to Woodward he purposely downplayed the crisis.
I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down. Yes, sir. Because I don't want to create a panic.
Today, the president stood by his actions.
We don't want to instill panic. We don't want to jump up and down and start shouting that we have a problem.
Democratic presidential challenger Joe Biden blamed Trump for tens of thousands of deaths he says could have been prevented.
He failed to do his job on purpose. It was a life and death betrayal of the American people.
Bob Woodward is facing criticism of his own for not revealing the information sooner, but he says it took him months to confirm some of the things that Trump told him. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Washington.
Well, residents of California woke up to an ominous sky today as wildfires continue to spread rapidly in the region. There was no visible sunrise in the Bay Area as a mix of fog and smoke painted the sky fiery orange. Record heat and high winds have contributed to more than 9,000 square kilometers being burned in recent weeks, and it's spread north. Both Oregon and Washington state are dealing with unprecedented wildfires.
After fleeing war and famine and enduring a COVID-19 lockdown, thousands of migrants on the Greek island of Lesbos are homeless again tonight. Stephen D'Souza shows us what has caused their new plight.
An Iraqi photographer and refugee captures the terror as flames race through the Moria camp last night. Migrants and asylum seekers who fled war and famine from Syria, Afghanistan, and North Africa were forced to pick up what little they have left and escape again.
How is this finished?
By morning, more than 80% of the camp was destroyed. It was built to house 3,000, but with Europe largely closing its doors to asylum seekers, the camp's population swelled to more than 12,000. Aid groups say children make up about 40% of those in the camp.
It's very difficult.
In 2015, as the flood of migrants overwhelmed Europe, CBC News visited the camp and found squalid conditions. This week, the camp was put in quarantine, as one case of COVID-19 had led to more than 30 others. Officials say migrants may have started the fire. Those in the camp blame Greek extremists. Aid groups say years of neglect and the current pandemic made for a volatile situation.
This situation was a time bomb that we were expecting to explode one day or the other.
Today, European nations faced renewed pressure to help. One German state said it would take up to 1,000 people. The European Union offered to house 400 unaccompanied children. The worst, though, is far from over. Tonight, more fires are burning, and those trying to flee to nearby towns are being turned away by police with tear gas. The Greek government says ships and a new camp are coming, meaning for many, their life in limbo continues. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, New York.
When we come back, the new rules of the workplace thanks to COVID-19.
We have spies. We call them change champions.
Colleagues snitching to keep colleagues safe. What else could the future of the working world include?
We haven't had a hug since back in February.
And where does back to school and burst bubbles leave Grandma and Grandpa?
We didn't see 2020 coming. The coronavirus and COVID-19 have dramatically changed our world. The way we work, the way we learn, even the way we play. Navigating these present realities, death, distancing, the divisions apparent in who is bearing the brunt of COVID. All of it can show us powerful lessons for the future, new directions for schools, offices, and public health. So, this week, The National is looking at the future and where we could go from here. Tonight, heading back into the office may mean a spotless desk and a spying culture. In this country, in this moment, no one takes work for granted. At the start of the summer, nearly 30% of Canadians said the pandemic cost them their jobs or cost them precious hours. It's getting a bit better. Now, a few of the millions who worked from home are going back into actual buildings with their colleagues. And if that scares you, brace yourself, because the future of work and workplaces will be different for a while, maybe forever. Pre-pandemic, did you even think twice about it? Swiping a pass to get into an office, all those security gates and codes, just routine, right? Not at all. Those are measures born of fear. 9/11 created such a hunger for protection that workplaces the world over tightened up almost immediately. The force of fear is at it again.
You are required to do an online survey, and then you have to watch about a 10-minute video about how to actually move through the space in a COVID-compliant way.
These are now the rules for a return to McKinsey in Toronto, a firm consulting with companies globally on making offices work. This office is not what it was. There is a room for taking temperatures now, but there's no more paper, no pens, no mugs, no trays of food.
So again, this was a space to eat, and there was a foosball table like many companies used to have. That's gone, just because we don't want people doing those sorts of things.
I feel like you're a little bit of a tour guide in a corporate museum.
In a corporate museum, I'm having exactly that thought as you and I are having this discussion, which is, it's a bit sad because, you know, we designed this building and it was pretty leading edge 20 years ago when we designed the space and we put it together. We're kind of stuck in time.
Leading edge now looks less like social spaces than safe ones. The health monitoring robots you've seen in parts of Asia gauging temperatures, reminding people to stay apart, do more than that in some offices now. Some snitch on the rule breakers to management. It's humans on the case at Cushman Wakefield.
Well, we have spies. We call them change champions. We have a national leader, and she will have to let them know that they have not been obeying the rules. And when they break it enough time, then they're asked not to come in. Because everything depends on that trust level.
Return to work here is voluntary, and people are trickling back. Countrywide, Canadians have conditions for their office returns. When asked in August by KPMG, 82% said they trust their employer to take all necessary precautions, but they're also ready to hold their bosses to account. 60% say they will refuse to go into their offices if they don't feel safe. And safe, it seems, now equals sterile.
Well, one of the key things you're missing, I think, are people's tchotchkes and things they put on their desk. We have a clean desk policy.
But it means taking the soul out of it a little bit.
It does, yes, which I think will affect people long term.
So no trinkets at this commercial real estate services company helping to get millions back to the office around the world. To advise others, they have to make over their own space, so those stuck feeling disconnected back at home are confident enough to come into the office as a team again.
In the future, we're going to create spaces that bring people together safely.
Until then, rules are real. No more stand-up desks.
Because when you're standing, the droplets from when you speak are more likely to be picked up in the airstream.
Just one more adjustment Joanne Ross in research is getting used to. Already scolded gently for standing at her desk, she's okay. Being back is better.
I feel coming into the office is just a little bit more structured for me, and I feel that I can create a little bit more balance.
Just seeing even a few familiar faces, a relief. The craving for connections is so endemic in the loneliness of the pandemic that businesses are gamifying the corporate world.
Everyone, to change the office configuration in a team suite, simply walk into one of the offices.
Allowing those privileged with enough bandwidth to virtually drop by each other's offices to brainstorm or catch up instead of emailing or video conferencing, just to feel like they're together. The company that makes this platform, Verbella, says tens of thousands of new businesses signed up when the pandemic hit. And then there's Japan, where a virtual social site called Taknom is huge. Drinking with colleagues and clients is so rooted in work life, some Japanese companies pay employees extra for food and drink to ensure they sign on and still connect. 70% of Japanese companies have employees working from home. That is a radical shift for a country where long office hours and micromanagement have been the rule for decades.
We don't know how long this COVID situation is going to last.
Ko Simmel is an architect, helping Japanese firms adapt. The absorption panels for sound and droplets make it safer, but the physical layout of offices has been hard for bosses to let go of, especially their island desks overseeing all work.
It's kind of a management style of constantly being able to see what everybody on their team is working on.
Now, with so many employees at home, micromanagement hasn't gone away, it's just gone online.
Some companies have taken it another step beyond that, of making it a mandatory rule for their employees to keep their video conferencing connected so that their managers at all times can still see that their employees are at home in front of their desk working.
What Japanese employers worry about is productivity, because world over, working from home shows an initial boost in productivity, but from the research McKinsey and others have done, eventually something changes.
Because what tends to happen is when people work in isolation, they tend not to have the interactions with other people that force them to either learn new things, hear new things, experiment with new things, see others doing different things that leads to innovation. And so you do start to hear anecdotally some companies saying we are starting to see a plateau in the productivity and even some degradation in the productivity.
And that's the worry that caused companies like IBM, Yahoo, Aetna, Best Buy to cancel their once revolutionary remote working strategies well before COVID. But now that there's no choice, employers are arming themselves. What's been dubbed a surveillance arms race has been launched during the pandemic.
Do you want to know how working hours are spent by your employees and in turn increase the efficiency of the whole company?
Measuring how long you're on your laptop, what sites you visit, how you're actually spending your time at home.
You're able to see private messages, photos, and other material.
That sneaky software may enforce working hard, but not necessarily working well. Ah, the old days. The adrenaline, the casual brainstorming, the social capital built from so much time together. This, for now, is history. And that's the worrying hollowness to the world's newly empty workplaces, that not being at work means the best of work is sort of slipping. Take a good look now, because in an era of COVID, all these spaces desperately need a rethink. So a couple things to keep an eye on in the short and the long term. All those cubicle spaces will probably have to shift to make room for spaces to bring people in to innovate together.
Right.
And companies are really worried about the new hires because if you don't have the set relationships, it's going to be a lot harder for them to get noticed, get their ideas noticed, and get promoted.
Yeah, well, it's funny to think how much you can accomplish, right? In those little moments of face-to-face contact, the unstructured, unscheduled,
like this,
incidental moment. Yeah, well, maybe not quite like this, but something like it. And hey, tomorrow we are going to continue our forward-looking series with something that's absolutely critical to fighting this pandemic. In this Canadian lab, quiet work on a big project.
Part of the device will go in the mouth.
A COVID test, so reliable, so quick, anybody, anywhere could use it and get a positive or negative result within minutes.
If the patient has COVID-19, this device is gonna change their color to red.
Similar technology is already being tested on a large scale, and success could mean a seismic shift in how quickly we can respond to new infections.
I think that will be a game changer when we have that available.
The future of testing, tomorrow on The National. Ahead tonight, though, heading back to school and bursting bubbles.
I honestly don't know what's going to happen. I'm so confused. I have no clue.
Yeah, kids being back in class have families facing some tough decisions. That's right after the break. Welcome back. At the start of the school year for most students across the country, many families are now having to rethink how to stay protected from COVID-19. And as Joanna Rumliotis explains, it can mean bursting social bubbles.
And I can't see anything.
There they are, there they are. Who is it, Apollo? Look at Apollo.
They can't go inside to greet them. And outside, it's so hard not to hug. Helen Antonopoulos' parents are just back from a month-long visit to Greece.
Hi, Mom.
And this just doesn't feel right.
Well, we like to hang them and kiss them, but we have to stay away. So that's the only way to be protected.
This is the first time ever we haven't hugged them. Hi. It's very difficult.
I don't like it, but I mean, it's what we have to do.
Here, grab the doggy.
Time together in the time of COVID. It's more complicated than ever.
Coming.
The need to stay apart for a couple of weeks when back from a trip is one thing, but the start of school means the days of distancing could be here for a while.
I honestly don't know what's going to happen. I'm so confused. I have no clue. I don't know after the 2 weeks what we're going to do because she's going to be in school. So do I integrate them again? Do we all hang out again? I don't know.
Everywhere, what were safe social bubbles are about to burst. For Antonopoulos, summer has been a reprieve, but school and the risk it carries means time spent with grandparents and her daughter's neighborhood friends is now up in the air.
If she's going to be in a bubble with 15 kids at school, then what happens afterwards? Like, does that mean that she does not socialize with any other kids, like her cousins or our neighborhood kids that are, around? Like, does that mean that there's no more social life for her other than just the day, like at school?
Remember, other stairs for you guys.
The simple answer is also the hardest. Marnie and Bill Carter have kept their distance from their grandkids since the start of the pandemic, but they're aching to hold them.
We haven't had a hug since back in February.
We have a sign, right? You want to do the sign? Kiss,
Kiss,
hug, hug. Yeah. And that's the best we can do, right? We're seniors and we have health issues, and we have to find a way. This is our biggest challenge, to maintain the close relationship we have with them and keep ourselves safe, right?
I like the flippies is more like this, more just.
So they're enjoying the time now, and once the weather turns, Joy Henderson says there won't be any indoor visits.
Now that we're going back to school, the kids will be exposed to over 75 students per day, and that's just in their cohorts. So we're going to have to close off our social bubbles, and that means protecting our seniors, which means that they won't be seeing their grandparents as usual.
How do you feel about that?
It's heartbreaking.
First I've been back, he was such a nice guy. I don't know. We're speaking for most grandparents. I mean, these guys and our granddaughter fill us with so much happiness. They give us purpose to our life, right?
They have to be safe. We have to be safe. So
here we go into the next challenge.
Till we see each other again, okay?
Bye, guys. Nice to see you.
You know, and they feel the loneliness. It's loneliness for them.
Antonopoulos says her parents are already dreading being apart.
It's necessary, but it's a very, very painful thing to have to go through. You know, this lack of hugging and kissing and playing and just being near somebody. And it wears you down, I think, over time.
And it already started. Now that they're back from a long journey and don't know when they'll be able to get any closer. Joanna Rumiliotis, CBC News, Toronto.
It is so hard. There is change coming to Hollywood's most venerated awards, and it's aimed at making #Oscars so white a little less so. Up next, how a plan to encourage inclusivity will work and why it's already being met with resistance. After years of criticism crystallized by the #Oscars so white, the Academy Awards has made a move to be more inclusive. Eli Glasner tells us about the change and how it's being received.
And the Oscar goes to Parasite.
Parasite's thrilling win at the Oscars may have been a sign of things to come. After years of pressure to make the awards more inclusive, there are new requirements. In the future, Best Picture contenders must qualify in 2 of these 4 areas: on-screen inclusion of underrepresented groups, staffing of the same underrepresented groups behind the scenes, as well as in mentorship and marketing.
There are things you don't want to know about.
Depending on the interpretation, that could mean former Best Picture winners The Departed and Argo wouldn't qualify. Reaction was swift. Christy Alley called the new rules dictatorial and anti-artist. This Academy member says people are overreacting.
It's quite lenient and flexible.
And the new rules will make a difference.
You're having to think about, like, okay, what people of color, department heads, can I hire? You will go out and seek them in an active way that people hadn't been doing before. You know, that people just like are default, like, okay, I'm just gonna work with the same white people I always work with.
But this award season observer calls the changes a double fail.
You have both the kind of weird thing of the Academy trying to restrict people and this kind of idea of somehow they are in charge of what people should be making. And at the same time, anybody with a little bit of money can get around the rules.
Rules, he says, could actually make things harder for smaller, independent films. But a new report on changes to encourage diversity in the British film industry show the challenges.
Especially in terms of Black and Asian minority ethnic representation in films. There was still a lot of work to be done, basically. And a lot of those diversity standards hadn't really taken effect. A lot of those stories weren't necessarily being told.
Hollywood still has time to grapple with the requirements, which go into effect in 2024. Eli Glasner, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, there's a whole new set of rules in school, and some teachers have a new set of ways to get the message across.
And mess. Gotta like that. Now you know you gotta splash your hands. Sanitize a goop and wash your hands now. Don't be a snoop.
You know you got to stick around for this, right? After the break. Okay, so here's a dance break as a public service announcement. The message: new safety measures in schools for staff and students. Now, those adjustments mean a need for conversation, and it's a challenge that those Saskatchewan teachers took on, tongue-in-cheek, of course. It is our moment.
Yo, sound the bell. School's in, sucker.
One of the things that I like to do with my videos is most of them are as cringy as can be, and that's kind of on purpose. Just having fun, showing off some of the new rules, but just really trying to embrace what humanity is all about.
Welcome back to our school.
We're so happy to see you.
It was just such a powerful tool for teachers and for everyone to connect with the students.
Make sure you wash your hands and sanitize to keep each other healthy.
At a time where parents and school staff alike are pretty stressed out and there's a lot to remember and a lot that's new that's going on, it's nice to have just kind of a little bit of joy.
Wait a second. Those guys are actually really good.
They're very good. They're very good.
Impressive.
So teachers have skills.
Yeah.
The folks at Gull Lake School, a shout out here because the teacher there, Neil, said that initially the other teachers didn't want to participate. They eventually did. The others wanted to. Peer pressure never ends.
Totally worth the effort. 100%. That's the National for this September 9th. Have a great night.
Good night.